And a lot of things, if you have a calculator, that will work for you. Because honestly, are we going to sit there and do it by hand? You know, if you have to calculate standard deviation, if you have like 100 numbers, it's ridiculous for you to sit there, draw that table, and do it by hand. But I taught you that way just so you understand where it's come from. But if you got Google Sheet, that will work out just fine. Right? So those are the 3 objectives that we can look at. So bear with me. It may look crazy at first, but like standard deviation, right? It was terrible at first, but we got it. The same thing when we look at Google Sheet. The first time we did it was so confusing, but after we went over, and most of you are like, oh, okay, I can do it. It's not too bad. So bear with me. We have, 2 more days of instructions. So stay with me. Don't give up. Don't walk away. Take notes, all right? So quartile. What we're going to look at is quartile. And then when I do this yesterday, my third period, one of the students was like, Miss Nguyen, can you write a little bit better, neater for me so I can see it? I'm trying my best. It's really hard to write on the screen using my pen, even though it's the iPad. It's really hard because if I put my hand on my iPad, then the screen, I'm touching the screen, then everything just gonna keep running and moving. So I cannot touch the screen and I have to write. So bear with me. My handwriting is not that bad, but try. Let me know if you cannot read something. Then I will type it in the chat. And most of the time we have Miss Munoz. She will type it in for you as well. So bear with us, all right? So the one thing we're going to learn today is called quartile. Okay. The quartile, what it does is divide the data set into equal parts. So when I'm talking about data set, it's like you give you a list of numbers, you collect information, and you have the numbers. That's the data, right? So we have a list. The quartile, what it does is split it up into parts, okay? So this one, quartile, is another name like quarters. So we're gonna split, if you have this data set, this is a bunch of number. The quartile set is split the data into 4 equal part. Okay, and each part they will tell you exactly what is represent. So for example, so this one you can split. This is quarter 1. This is quartile 2. This is quartile 3. The same thing as you think about the school year, right? We have the entire school year and we split it up into quarters. The end of quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3. And notice at the end of the year, we don't really have like an assembly for quarter 4 because that's the end of the year, right? So notice I'm going to start with quarter 1, 2, and 3. So these 3 split up into 4 equal parts. So that's the quartiles and why we care about that. So here's something that I've been telling you for this class. So if any of you anyone asks you, so what is statistic? What is it about? What you can tell them is about the average, about the middle, where we are with the average. We want to compare ourselves. We want to compare our product. Whatever that we have, we want to compare with the average so that we can make decision. It's about looking at data and analyze it and make decision, right? We need to compare, are we above the average or below? Our product is good. Is it something people like? We do survey about it, right? So this is about 25% of the population. This is about 50%. This is 75%. So when you look at your data and you're like, okay, I'm somewhere at quartile 1, that is mean it's about 25% of the population. And then for quartile 2, it's about 50% of the population are doing that or have that score. And then we look at quartile 3, it's about 75% of the population is having that, make that choice or have that score or have that income or whatever that we want to look at, right? So this is what quartile is for. Yes, okay. For some of you came in late. I get it. It's a different schedule today. So yes, um, it's just, yeah. Yes, I will share the link again. Okay, so there's the link. If you just join, it's okay. It's okay. We won't mark you tardy. It's fine. All right. So remind me of the class today because I may not remember what time it's ended. So let's remind me. So this is quartile. Any question for me about quartiles? What it stands for, what it means, what is due. In the next few slides, I'm going to show you how to find the quartiles by hand. And then we're going to find the quartile using Google Sheet. For Google Sheet is one that if you have a lot of numbers, I'm not going to sit there and do it by hand, but Google Sheet will help. So for now, if you have the time, you can open the Google Sheet and have it ready, and we're going to use that in a minute. So question for me, are you still copy this down or are we good? Should I move to the next slide? Let me know. Still copy? Okay. Let's start with finding the quartile. This is a list. We have 15 employees. So that means I have 15 numbers. Enroll in a CPR training course. I listed find the first, the second, and the third quartile. So we're going to find the first, second, and third quartile. Okay, think about the data set. We're going to go from the least to the greatest. To find the quartile, we need to find the median. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to list out the steps for you and how we can find those three. Okay, so step number one, we need to yes, I'm recording the lessons. I can share with you the link so that you can watch it. And then if you copy the notes, when I end the session, it will send you the notes, whatever you copy it down. I will turn it back to student pace so that way you can go back and copy it. I will share, yeah, you can copy it later. That's fine. Okay, so step number one, I'm going to write as a step. I'm going to put the data in order. Okay, so step number one, I'm going to organize my data in the order from least to greatest. So as you can see, it's my handwriting. This is, I got the complaint for the last few days because I continue to write, and then a lot of you cannot read it. I try. Okay, so put the data in from the least to the greatest. So step number one, I'm going to organize this from the lowest number to the highest number. So let's do that. If you cannot read my handwriting, like I said, Miss Munoz is typing it in the chat, so you can copy that as well. So the first number is 5. I'm going to list them out. 5, 7, 9, 10, 11, 13, where's 13? 14, 15, where's 15? 16, okay. We have 17 is the next one. I have 218, 20, 21, and the last number is 37. Okay, so that's step number one. I'm organize my numbers from least to greatest. So that's step number one. The next step that I will do, I'm going to use the list that I just organized. Step number two, what I want you to do is we're going to find the median. Who remember what to do, or how are we going to find the median? What you do to find the median. So step 2, we find the median. Anyone remember? So to find the median, I just organize the data. What number is the median? No one remember how to find the median? Oh boy.
You count off the edges and to the middle.
The median is the number in the middle, right? Yes, thank you. So the median is the number in the middle. So we can count, and then we can eliminate. So for the median in this case is 15. That is my median. Okay, I'm counting it. I have 15 numbers. So if I count in 7 numbers on both sides and the 15 is in the middle. Sometimes what happens is that we have 2 numbers in the middle, right? Sometimes if we have an even set, that is means the number in the middle is just 1. We count in and then we're okay, I have 2 numbers. That is when we add those 2 and then divide by 2, and that will be your median. Okay, so that's the median, the first median. This one, when you find the median, what it does, that is split the data into 2 equal parts. And what I'm going to call is that this part right here is called the lower half. And this part right here, the one that I highlight in purple, I call the upper half. Okay. So I'm finding, so step number 2, when I find that median, I split my data into half, the lower half and the upper half. Now what I will do next, step 3, is that I'm going to find the median again, but I'm finding the median for each half. So the median of the lower half and the median of the upper half. So when I'm doing the median, notice the number that I highlight, right? I'm no longer use the 15. That is already done. I already use that as a median, so I don't include that number anymore. Okay, so when I do this, I'm looking for the median for the lower half. So again, it's the number in the middle. If you count in 5, if you do 5, 14, 7, 13, I'm cross it out. So the median of my lower half is 10. I'm doing the same thing for the upper half. I'm going to find the median of the upper half. Can someone tell me what is the median of the upper half? 18, thank you. So right here, which is 18. Yeah. The last steps, I'm going to label Q1, Q2, and Q3. So all the median that I circle, I just go in order and say this is quartile 1. The second median right here is quartile 2, and this one is quartile 3. So that's how I find the first, the second, and the third quartile. I'm finding the median. But first, I'm finding the median of the entire data set. Then that median split the data into 2 equal parts. Then I'm finding the median for each part. So now I have 3 medians, and I label them Q1, Q2, and Q3. Questions for me? Let's do another one together. Now, notice this one is 25 numbers. It's too much. I don't want to do all 25 numbers. Okay, so I'm going to cut it down. So let's use the top, just the first line. Just use this line. Just use those numbers to find quartile 1, quartile 2, and quartile 3. Okay, let's not do all 25, just use some of them. So step number 1, anyone remember step 1? What do I do? In order for me to find the first, the second, and the third quartile.
Put it in order.
Yes, thank you. So I'm going to organize the data. Good. Organize my data. So I'm looking here. I have 15 is the lowest. Then I have 20. Okay. Then I have 21. I have 22. I have 2 of 23. Then I have 24. There's only 1. I have 2 of 25. I have 325. So one more. 25, 25, and 25. Then I have 330. So that's step number 1. Thank you, Jaden, Brandon. So that's step number 1. I'm gonna look at step 2. What do I do next? Once I organize my data, what do I do next?
You find the median.
I'm gonna find a median. Thank you, Lena. So I'm find a median. So in here I'm having, let me count how many numbers that I have. So here's the option. I can just cross it out. Okay, so that median. Okay, so I found my median, which is 24. Okay, so that's my first median. Good. Now I found the first median. I'm going to find the other medians, right? So here's the thing. The first median will split this data into 2 equal parts. The first one, and then the second part. The lower half and the upper half. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the median of the lower half. Same thing. So look in here. I'm going to so here is the problem. Not really a problem, but what you can see is that when you find the median, you have 2 numbers, right? Not just one, there's 2. So what you can do is you can add them up, 21 plus 22, and then divide by 2. Or in here, the median is going to be 21.5. So this would be your median. I'm going to circle that. So we may run into a situation where it's not exactly a number for you to choose. If there's 2, we add them up and divide by 2. Question so far? I'm doing the same thing for the next one. So I know in here, if I looked, I will have 25 and 30. But I'm going to add them. 25 plus 30, and then divide by 2. That's give me 27.5. So that would be my third median. Okay, so sometimes you may not only have one number, you may have 2, and that's fine. We add them up and find divide by 2, and that would be your median. So here's step 2, find the median. Step 3, we talk about we also find the median, but the median of the upper and the lower half. And step 4, we're just going to label Q1, 2, and 3. So now I can call this as Q1. This is Q1, this is Q2, and this is Q3. Okay, and what it's saying is that for Q1, what it's saying is about 1/4 of the population, the tuition cost would be about $21,500 or less. So about 25% of the liberal arts college, the tuition is $21,500 or less. Okay, and then for quartile 2, what you can say is about 50%, or you can say half of the liberal arts college, the tuition is about $24,000 or less. Q3, what it's saying is about $27,500 dollars per year or less. About 75% of the colleges charge that much. Okay.
Are we gonna have this on our exam for our final exam?
Yes.
Okay, and are we gonna need to like put like that, like the total for like is like $21,500 or whatever?
Well,
like a percentage.
we will do more of that next class. So we're gonna practice interpret that next class. For this one, now I'm just talk about it. But yes, there will be some question that I'm asking. What about 25% of the population? How much they pay? Something like that. Yes. But that will be for the next class. We're gonna spend time to look at the data and interpret that. But for today, I just want to focus on how to calculate it. So we'll talk more about this next class. All right, so for the time that we have, I'm not going to ask you to do the practice, but I'm going to show you how to do this using Google Sheet. Okay, I will share the document with you as well. I'm going to put that in the notes folder, so that way you can go back and look at the command that I'm going to share with you. Okay, so for the time that we have, I would love for you to do the practice, but let's do Google Sheet first. We're going to use the same data list right here. We're going to use those numbers, okay? So can you do me a favor? Go ahead and open a Google Sheet. If you don't know how, let me know, but have a blank one open.